seen different lakes all over the state, all over the country, and there's something so unique about this and special about this lake here.
It's incredible, right?
And there's activities all year round on here. I mean, they ice fish on this lake in the winter time.
Snowmobile.
They snowmobile on it, and there's some wonderful snowmobile trails that go right through our property in the woods here. So we have snowmobilers that come and stay here. But in the summer, and it's not too busy of a lake either. Even with all these houses here, it's just...
That's kind of what, it was February, so I was like, well,
sure.
I'll have to judge it more appropriately in the spring.
But you have the ski resort right down the road, and so we get traffic here in the wintertime. It just never seems too busy, even on a holiday weekend. It's it's so nice to be here.
Now this is open to the kids that come here.
Yeah, and we do lots of different retreats, and so youth groups will come, church groups will come here, family reunions. We have a lot of that comes in. We host very large AA groups and other organizations that will come and have their retreats here as well, and this is all open to any of the groups that are staying here.
Nice. I love the floating dock too, actually. Is that a specific purpose?
It pulls a boat right up on it.
Nice.
It's supposed to pull like a jet ski or a small boat right up on it.
So did you guys put this in just this year?
What? These docks? No, the board, we put that boardwalk in over there, all the way down there.
So, and now you own up to the end of the boardwalk? Right?
No, we own all the way down to that boat down there, sitting down there. So even past the boardwalk down there.
Really?
Yeah, all the way to that next boat that's sitting down there.
But the plan is what going forward?
So we're bringing back kids camps next summer, and we're going to start with at least 2 weeks of kids camps in the summer, and we also have our family Bible camp that's been going on for I don't know how long. I want to say almost 80 some years, but I don't remember the exact. It's been going on for for a long time here. I think actually ever since the camp was formed in 1936. So. Figure out the math. I don't know. And so we continue having that family Bible camp here each year, and then we'll be running kids camps here as well next summer. It was always the highlight of my summers to have the campers here at the camp when I was around.
You must have had certain friends that would come.
Absolutely, every year. Right. Well, actually, funny story, I met my wife here.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How old were you guys?
14 when we first met.
What a great story, really?
It is, yeah.
Wow.
That was one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that we held on to this piece of property.
That's
here.
Super special. And you don't have kids yet, but eventually when you have kids.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, does she help you with any of this, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So, family business to a degree.
Sure, you can say that.
Okay. Now, so this boardwalk is just this year. You just put this in?
Yeah, we just put this in. Yep.
What a great addition.
Yeah, and our hope is we're going to get some benches sitting back here, some landscaping, so we have some nice permanent benches that overlook the lake off the boardwalk here, so people can sit down here, and you have the nice back there, the nice bank behind you here that kind of protects you. It's so peaceful and so relaxing when I come back here. I enjoy my current job now, and I love where I live in Clarence, but when I come back here on the weekends, it's like all worries, all stress just kind of leaves you, and it's so nice to be down here. It's a different pace of life, and that's one thing that we really want to create here is an environment where people can just come and get away from their daily lives and forget about that and just have that relaxation.
So for the camp, did you have to do a lot of improvements this year because it had been? We did. We put a couple $100,000 worth of renovations into the property once we got it because it had been shut down for a couple years and really had been neglected for several years. We fully renovated 2 cottages. We had to renovate one of the main dormitory style buildings. We've put 3 new roofs on buildings, and we're in the process of putting all metal roofs on all the buildings to get them looking uniform, and just really giving the whole camp a new facelift and sprucing it up. And it was just normal wear and tear, I'm sure, just from...
Sure, yeah, from years and years of, like I said, the camp was established in 1936, and, for several years they hadn't put any money into the property, so there was several things that needed updating and just being brought up to.
And that's what kind of this year is about for you, right?
And that's what this past year was all about, just restoring the property, getting it back to the standards that it needs to be. And now we're focusing on programming and implementing that, bringing kids camps back here.
Sure. So now the camp overall, what's the capacity here? This first.
We can sleep 90 beds just in the dormitory style buildings. Then it's roughly 130.
Wow. And now are you going to do?
And that's without campsites. So then we have RV and tent campsites as well that we can host.
And then that is more towards the back of the grounds, or
right over here you can see that we have some of our RV sites right over here and tent camping. And then on top of the hill we also have more overflow sites and tent camping up there as well.
Wow. And are you still building your crews as far as facility?
As far as
people,
hiring people, we are. You know, we have a couple part-time employees right now. We are going to be looking shortly here. We're putting together a proposal for a full-time director for the facility to help us run the facility.
Right.
And then we'll be from there looking for probably some maintenance people and.
And then this will occur throughout the course of this next year. You'll get all that together. And
yeah, that's the idea. Once funds start coming in.
It's always the issue. But, you know what I love about this place too is that it retains the charm.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
yes.
I mean, the bell tower alone, right?
The bell tower's been here from the beginning.
Wow, but the buildings are really great. It just really speaks to the era.
It does.
And I think the whole lake is like that, really.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
You know, Findley Lake, it looks like something that just is stepping back into this beautiful era.
You're right.
You know, and the architecture and the buildings and the layout of this camp is just spectacular. And the way that, the trees have been kind of curated.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. All right, awesome. Let me get my DSLR going.
Yeah, so we used to have a tabernacle right here, and this was a huge barn that was right in this area right here that duplicated as our tabernacle, and we would have all of our speakers in there and our worship music in there.
Wow.
It was one of the original buildings on the property, and it was a barn before it was a camp here. It needed to be taken down, and a lot of people, it had a lot of sentimental value to a lot of people.
Sure.
And so we're looking to resurrect a new building in this area here that will serve as a worship center again.
Did you guys save the wood?
Some of it was, yeah. Some of it was saved, and people were able to take pieces of it. It had some old theater type seating in it, and people took the seats out, and some people have those and stuff as memorabilia.
Well, and just like anywhere else, there were certain seats that you sat in.
You're right. So absolutely. Year
sure
after year, those people came back and they would sit in those same seats.
And I'm sure that's the seat that.
Yeah, and they had the old brass numbers on them.
Yeah.
So they knew exactly what number.
Probably had that nice worn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So you'll put one right back in the same spot.
Well, probably in this area. Yeah. We're looking. We have plans to do, over the next several years for 3 new buildings here. Kind of a sports complex building, a more of a hotel style building with private bathrooms, because right now they're just all dormitory style buildings. And then more of a worship center again, because this is our only chapel at the moment right over here, and we do some small weddings in this chapel. But it's, for a large group, it's not conducive right now.
It's cute though.
It is. Oh, it is, and it's really nice inside. I don't know if there's somebody in there or what's going on.
Sure. Can you tell me a bit of the history? I mean, you must know a lot about the history of the camp.
Yeah, so the camp was formed in 1936 as an EUB, so Evangelical United Brethren Camp. It was a part of the Pennsylvania Conference back then. And when the EUB and the Methodist Church merged, it became a United Methodist camp, and was a United Methodist camp up until 2018.
Wow.
And when we were able to purchase it from the United Methodist Church.
And this was really, for you, this was a mission. I mean, this was really something that was deeply important to you.
It was. Growing up next door, having this be my home for 30 some years. I really felt called and led to really kind of save this. We didn't want to see it go to developers, and if the developers had purchased this property, it would have really changed this town. It would have changed the feel of this town. It would have they wanted to come in and put senior housing and condominiums in here on the lake, and just didn't want to see that happen to this small town.
So, this was this whole show, we see it time and time again, and my history in my life is the same way. Like, you feel called to something,
right? And
you feel driven to do it, and I think that's what it is about this town and about this lake. It's not overdeveloped. Right.
It's not. You're absolutely right.
There's so many lakes in this region, across the entire country, probably the world. It's lakefront property is at a premium. So if you put condos here and you did that, it changes because it opens. It's a slippery slope. Right. Once that happens.
Yeah, it is. You're commercializing something here that hasn't been touched yet.
Yes.
And that would have been the first step to really kind of commercializing this lake. And we had a large support from the community to help us fundraise the money to be able to purchase this property, to keep it as a church camp and a religious organization here. And so, the community didn't want to see development come in here and develop this property either.
I mean, and I think you were on a hardcore mission, because you were like, this is not happening.
Right. And it took several years. It took several years of negotiations and meetings and conversations with attorneys and trying to raise the money, and it really took about a 6-year process.
Wow.
And there was a lot of times of highs where we thought we were going to have it and we thought we were really close, and then there was a lot of times where we were getting really frustrated and didn't think this was going to be able to happen. But
this is a higher calling.
Absolutely. I was going to say, God delivered it, and in the right time. Before we maybe weren't ready for it, and we thought we were ready to do it, but it really took 2 different organizations coming together, 2 different groups, and we both recognized that we weren't able to do it on our own. We were able to come together, and it was so much better that way.
It is, right? Yeah. And that's the truth. By God's grace, everything happened and it all aligned.
Absolutely,
as it should. Because, and I always say, there's like a past leads the future and future leads the past, because what you're doing here is going to affect so many people down, and it already has affected so many people. And
it's had such a huge impact over the years, and we wanted to keep that tradition alive here.
You've sown an awesome seed, and great, good seed, and that only is going to breed more of that. Yeah. And so, in a way, when you look at it, this could not have fallen any other way. It needed you guys to,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's awesome. I mean, it's really like you can tell when you just pass by, like it's just got this feel to it,
Well, that's what we hope. That's what we're going for.
And I love that nobody hurt the buildings, and it's still here, and it's for the people that have spent time here in the past. Oh, you have tiny houses?
Yeah, we got little cabins up here. Yeah, little cabins.
Oh, that's great.
I think they're probably locked up. But
that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. What a cool, you've got this great.
So we built those for our horse camp program several years ago. We used to have horses here, and we built those one summer for the horse campers, and they would stay in those, and the horses were there's a barn just back there, and the horses used to be in the barn back there. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And they're oriented perfectly on the property.
Yeah, right. Just up on the
just up on the hill, and they have those beautiful porches.
Yeah.
So now those will be open next year for.
Yeah, those are open for rental at any time. They're open now. Anybody can rent them. They're not heated, so usually October is about the latest anybody rents them. They've got a little space heater in them, but that's about it. They have a little.
Those are perfect, and I did not even imagine. I love it.
They got a bathroom in there, a sink, and a little refrigerator, microwave, and then there's a grill for each one of them.
I'm blown away.
Well, good. I hope so. I hope everybody's blown away when they see it. Because it's been like I said, it's been a huge part of my life, and sometimes when something's been such a big part of your life, you hold it
Yes.
And a little higher,
Yeah.
and
you mythologize
right.
your past,
Yes.
and it's disproportionate, but this isn't at all.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
No. The layout alone, it just looks like something that's been well loved and well cared for decades, in which it has been.
Right.
You can't touch this.
No.
I mean, it's one of those things that I think if a developer did and it went another way, I think they would have fought. You would have fought. I just think.
Well, I don't know. Even if they had won the bid, I don't know if they would have been able to do what they wanted to do, because I think the town would have really fought them on the permits and the building what they wanted to do here.
And your father was the director of the camp, correct?
He was. So he started out here as the maintenance supervisor, and was the maintenance supervisor for several years, and then became the director of the camp. And he was here for over 30 years.
Wow.
Working here.
And during the winter, he still had to perform maintenance duties, of course.
Yeah, and a lot of our buildings are winterized.
So
we get a lot of
do,
church
winter
groups.
camps and
We
stuff?
do. Well, not winter camps, but we get church retreats groups that come in, youth groups, college groups that'll come in, stay with us. We'll do their meals and their programming, and they'll go up to Peak and Peak and go skiing or tubing.
This is great. Right,
so we're a cheaper alternative than them staying at the Peak, and we do their meals here for them.
Oh, that's nice.
The way this started out is really kind of in 1936, it was a retreat area for pastors. And so there was a lot of little houses on the property where pastors would come and stay. But then once they would retire, they had their own little house on the property that they could come and stay at. So a lot of these little ones that you'll see around were old pastoral houses for their own retreat.
And then this is just refinished.
Yeah,
Wow.
just redone in here.
Look at this. It's beautiful. And this is for rent?
Yeah.
Wow. I expected it to be nice, but this is a...
Right? I mean, it's $150 a night in here.
That's a great deal.
Cheap.
And the Lakeview one that we'll go see is $200 a night.
But you have this beautiful porch too.
Yeah.
And I love how private it is. That's the big deal.
Yeah.
You're not stuffed in a room. You're not in a condo. You're not in a townhouse. You have this beautiful property, this beautiful lake.
You can go down and use some of the canoes. You can use the paddle boats, the kayaks out on the lake if you stay here.
And this is why this had to get saved.
Absolutely.
For all of this, because a condo complex, retirement community, it's all private purchase. You lose the magic that is. I mean, it's still on Findley, but.
So this is our craft and our nature center, and we used to do school programs in here, and just educational programs in here. I think it's locked. Oh, this side's open. So the idea is these school programs that would come in here. We talk a little bit about the plants and the nature that's in this area, the different wildlife that's here, and then we would take them on a nature hike around the property.
And just show them the practical use of what they just learned, right?
Yep, and show them the different trees that are out there. We're trying to have them identify them. Okay, so we just talked about this. Now, what tree identification is this? How would we identify this tree and things like that? And that's something that's kind of lost these days. Kids, nobody does that anymore.
Nope. Well, thanks for showing us.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah.
Gonna get your little classroom in here. Now, who does this? Who teaches these classes?
So there's a guy, a local guy that it's starting to rain now. A local guy that used to be a biology teacher in the RV area here. Yep, and we have a shower house over there, and so people can come and bring their RVs here. People can come and tent here. Well, they get this area, and they could use kayaks or paddle, the paddle boats and things like that. They could use the waterfront. We don't allow swimming unless there's a lifeguard, but if they sign a waiver, they can take the canoes and kayaks and things like that out.
Nice.
This second one, this tan one, is where we'll head over to, because that's the other one that we've newly renovated, and now we're starting on this one, but it's a work in progress.
So now, was this the first one that you guys had rehabbed?
This was the first one that we renovated, yep. Now, the worst part about this is the entrance. We got to redo the entrance because you come into this beautiful area, but this entrance drives me crazy. So just know that.
But you have a washer and dryer.
Yeah, there you go.
You didn't have one in the other one, right?
No, I did not. Yeah, it's got a great view of the lake there.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah, so we're having our harvest celebration today. This is our farmers market that we're gonna have. We're gonna have all kinds of stuff for the kids, bounce houses, we've got craft vendors, games for the kids, we're doing hay rides.